It's going to be the last one of our major of the season. Shopify versus TSM. How you guys feeling?
Feeling great, lot. Feeling amazing. Great to have Eric and, of course, Tony on the desk as well. And I've got to be honest, Andy, quite the series to start things off today in Taulek.
It really is, especially with what you saw just a little bit ago in the TSM Online event, right? These teams have a history where they've met up recently online. We've seen the result already, 3-1 both times in favor of Shopify. But let's not forget, you do have TSM taking objective game types off of them, so this one still could be a pretty interesting series for sure. Yeah,
it's a great talking point, actually, coming into this event. Probably the most that's happened between events that we've had in a long time. We are coming into, of course, the money season of Halo Infinite. We have this major and the World Championships just around the corner, but we've had 2 online events. We've had an offline event as well, so every single team that is here is ready to go, and I think TSM and Shopify both got different stories coming into this, but Shopify, of course, are defending champions here, wanting to go back-to-back.
Yeah, they absolutely do. They want to make this year theirs. We're going to start things off on CTF Aquarius, and an interesting series layout thereafter, Slayer Recharge, most notably, the 2 games that TSM took off of Shopify at the second TSM Pro-Am by Jersey Mike's was Recharge, so they're going to have their Recharge game ready, then things are going to get interesting here in game number 3.
Yeah, game number 3, Lattice, the new map that's been thrown into the rotation. We have 3 different game types on it as well, so a lot to be understood, worked at, practiced, and of course talked about after this event, because we feel that's going to be a real game-changing, not just map and mode, but certainly decider potentially in some of these series.
I also have to say, the 2 game types that TSM did win against Shopify just about 1 week ago were King of the Hill and Strongholds. These are position-based game types, so I'm looking for TSM to put up a fight in that game number 3 as well.
And of course, then we have Oddball Live Fire as our game 4. And we will be seeing a lot of Game 5s, we feel, this weekend, because that's been the pattern of Halo Infinite. We will go to Streets Slayer for that Game 5 if required. But it gives us a little bit of time here before the game gets underway, just to kind of highlight the stories that we have behind these 2 teams. We mentioned Shopify Rebellion, defending champions, and one thing that always is a question when you win an event is, do you have the gas, the drive to go on to win the next event and really close out this season strong?
Yeah, I think one thing that's going to be in their favor is, as you mentioned, just the amount of activity in between LANs, right? When we're in the home stretch of Halo Infinite, this is the most activity we've seen on both on LAN and online in between a LAN event in quite some time. So I think Shopify is going to maybe be grateful that they had the LVT LAN to maybe just shake a bit of the concern there, right? They're back on LAN only weeks later, and they win that one as well. So you have to think maybe Shopify coming in with even a bit of an extra edge, right? And they also just saw what happened to Optic in the second TSM Pro-Am. So I think Shopify, momentum-wise, should be feeling good, but should also just mention just how strong they looked overall just coming into SLC. Amazing results, but we'll have many more to talk about here this weekend as well. Game number 1, as we said, going to be CTF Aquarius.
Yes, indeed. And for the other side of the stage, TSM, it's all about just kind of regaining that fear factor. In recent events, they've been a little bit of a stepping stone for the teams making it through to Championship Sunday, and not the team that we've been talking about as the ones who have upset someone in that bracket run. So TSM looking to restore a little bit of that fear factor. Shopify looking to go back-to-back. It's a wonderful way to start off the major.
Yeah, TSM, very, very good performance last weekend in that second Pro-Am in their own tournament, and a lot of momentum undoubtedly coming from that. We'll go through those results as the series goes, but let's not forget a disappointing SLC for them, right? So they had a lot to learn there, and I think from that, they've taken the learnings, they've showed up online in big ways, and they're going to try to bring that into this series. I think if you're writing off TSM completely out of the series, I think you're making a mistake. They're going to come here with a fight.
Yeah, of course, we've seen TSM upsetting the likes of Optic in pool play as well. So this is the first game of the major. Welcome along wherever you are watching across the globe, or of course here in Charlotte, as one of the lucky people who's going to be experiencing the major. We're starting off with the POV of Frosty, but not for too long because he's already found himself in the death screen.
Yeah, that was 3 dead for both sides, so a pretty even start, and it will actually be LastShot who's able to get that off of the 1v1 momentarily to grab that first camo of the game, and we'll see what kind of momentum they can build. When you talk about these 2 teams, Mark, it's of course, a different story, right? Shopify here wants to make a statement. They want to start this tournament off on the right foot as they start to build another championship run. For TSM, though, it's about finding their previous form.
Great game type to start off the major as well. Aquarius capture the flag. It's been in since day 1, of course. Some little changes and adjustments to some of the settings, of course, but certainly a game type that is the most practiced, I would argue, out of the suite that we do have in Halo Infinite, and one that certainly does separate the skill level of our teams. 2 dead at the moment on the side of TSM, and with LastShot still with the camo in his hand, Struck is last alive, and that flag is already halfway home.
Wonderful slow play from LastShot there. You saw how patient he was, just pop-shotting players bottom mid there, made sure to use the entire camo, and the full duration of that new camo duration too, still dead. That flag should go. Shopify Rebellion scores in just 1 minute 20.
Perfect execution from Shopify Rebellion on the first flag run. Interesting to take it back just a few steps, though, because Off the break, LastShot was last alive initially when he got that camo, and that shows how well he played his life to be such an impactful player in that cap.
Absolutely love the way he just sat front base and made sure to just pop shot, right? Comes back, lets the camo return. They have no idea where he is. They can't track him. He gets the flag off the stand and kind of an old school MIDI-esque initial pull to just get the flag out. And now 4 dead yet again for TSM. 2
alive for Shopify Rebellion. Cykul moving forward immediately. Does have the threat sensor as well, which you can use to get an indication of where those spawns and TSM players are re-entering the arena. It's just going to be a trade, though, as TSM do a good job of just stabilizing inside of their base here.
See what Druk can do. Try to fly out. Saw him in the gym this morning. Man was looking very strong. Kills being exchanged, though. He's a very important role here. He's maybe, very important shots against Royal 2 with the thrust to keep his team in it. That will buy them just a bit of an extra second.
Another trade coming in, but all these trades are far up the map here for Shopify Rebellion, which is forcing TSM to spawn in and around the fridge, in and around their objective, and essentially still being on the back foot here. They're struggling to get out at the moment. The pressure from Shopify is really stifling them here.
Really good. You and I were talking about him a lot before this event. He's my player to watch this event. LastShot is already 7-4 in this game, but as quickly as I say that, Frosty last player alive with camo. It's 3 dead for Shopify.
And of course, this major as well, we had some adjustments to the camo that's going to last a little bit longer than previously, which is a big, impactful thing that you're going to see take over some of these games. And 2 in a row now, you can see Frosty still with the camo, still moving forward, and with TSM 3 dead, now he turns his attention to this flag.
Hits nice drop slides straight to Shroom Stairs. And going to find some spawners there. That's going to be tough for SoulSnipe. Some early damage coming in for Frosty, and he's going to try to get some more on the gen.
2 shields broken, 3 shields broken, and a trade. So great damage output coming from Frosty. The flag does start moving with 3 dead here for TSM. Last player alive just been taken down by Cykul with a perfect. That's going to be TSM all on the respawn. Flag is already on its way home.
Great discipline from, look at that, discipline from LastShot. He gets another one as well. Beautifully done there. And that flag will be returned momentarily. Royal 2 will walk home what will be the second flag, and yet still 3 dead for TSM. LastShot, the first player to hit 10 kills, and Shopify Rebellion looking like they're picking up where they left off in Salt Lake City.
TSM got to be careful here not to get double capped. Druk is already down to no shields inside of the fridge, and Royal 2 is hunting. Fantastic stats actually picked up. We talked about this a little bit before the event. Royal 2 has never gone negative in Halo Infinite. We took a second, we were like, what?
Don't even know how to process that.
And then we were like, oh, it's actually true. That's just an insane statistic for one of the best KD players of all time. Oi!
Beautiful shots there in the end. He will get the finish, and I couldn't agree with you more as I start to have a lucid dream of LastShot.
Just not just you. Just don't worry too much.
But couldn't agree more. When I heard that stat, I think I'm still mentally processing the idea that there's a player who had not gone negative at a single tournament. Talk about the consistency out of him.
Well, consistency for KD is not just him at the moment in this game. Every single player on the side of Shopify Rebellion is positive. TSM struggling to get on the board at the moment. SoulSnipe 5-13. Taulek, the player who was described as the X Factor, understandably for this team as well, who needs to get the kills. He's 4-10 as well. TSM are just being bullied at the moment.
Yeah, it's a great point you bring up, because I did want to mention it's pretty remarkable. Manny finally wins that one. It's 3 dead. He's going to try to stay alive off the triple. And is able to do so in the fridge for a moment. They're forcing the spawns, and they get the 5th kill as well. Here they come.
Camo coming up as well, so these kills being timed well enough for TSM to at least contest.
Oh no!
This next power
Did he
up,
spawn?
but you have to.
Wait.
To cross the road, you have to look both ways.
How early did he spawn there? Wow.
We not learned from the chicken.
It's true. There was neither a check of one way nor the other way, and he does get back-whacked in the end. What looked like it was going to be maybe a momentary TSM pull and advantage turns instead to a 3rd camo for Shopify Rebellion.
Flag is pulled. Frosty's on the flank there, you can see through the gen, but he's going to be taken down. So Royal 2 now turns his attention just to staying alive and making the most of this camo. And like we mentioned previously, the up in time that you can now use this camo that's active once you pick it up means that you can just take an extra second. Means that you don't have to overcommit and look for a trade. You can just milk your life, and output damage like Royal 2 is doing a great example of now.
I mean, you can really tell it's even changing the way, we're already seeing it here in game number 1. We've seen it, of course, on the tournaments the past few weeks as well. It's changed the way that camo is played on something like Aqua CTF. We're continually seeing this just drop the flag out and kind of pick players off, because you have that extra time. It buys you time to be even more annoying. 3 dead for TSM yet again.
3 dead, last player alive is on the car side. Excuse me, last player alive is Druk inside of the base. Players now flooding to the car side, having spawned on the fridge for TSM. So they've got a little bit of a 50-50 split on the map, but it's not a traditional one. And Druk now has to turn his attention towards that flag runner. 1 kill going to be picked up here by Taulek. taking down Frosty, and now the support is arriving. Flag will be pulled. TSM might be able to look for a return here, but Druk has to get this kill, and there's another waiting for him below.
Nice job. Well, look at the patience and the teamwork there from Druk and all of TSM as 3 will fall. They'll make sure that that flag does go back home, and Druk staying alive in the back of the base, and he's not done yet.
Ooh, he's going to get this kill on Frosty, though. He has the thrust, and Frosty just being an absolute nuisance.
That was, I mean, yeah, that just tells you how difficult of a kill Frosty is and always will be. Looks like Druk should have had that one easily. 4 dead yet again. By the way, I want to mention, it was not that long ago where we said LastShot was the first one on 10 kills. In that time, Royal 2 is now 17 and 10.
Yeah. Not bad from the man on your screen right now. Looking at the 18th as well, as the jiggle peek's going to come in from SoulSnipe. He's not going to re-peek that one, because he knows the kills will come to him. It's 2 dead for TSM. And more importantly, the flag is back in the base. LastShot does the heavy lifting this time around, and Shopify Rebellion are up by 3.
Beautifully done once again. Look at the efficiency. It's not just a flag cap.
Overkill for Frosty, by the way. Casually in the background while this flag was moving.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's not the first time. Look at the efficiency. It's not the first time that when they cap the flag, there's 4 dead at the time of the cap. Fantastic stuff from Shopify.
We didn't get to see it. But Frosty with the first overkill of the tournament in the first game of the tournament. Just what Frosty does.
Waste no time, really. He's like, why would I wait until any game later than game number 1 to get the first over? And with 4 minutes left on the clock, you wonder if we're even going to need them with the way that Shopify is playing this game number 1. Killing spree for Frosty now.
Overkill, killing spree. This man is just collecting medals at the moment. And collecting kills and looking to close this game out as well. Just under 4 minutes left in this game. TSM really not had any opportunity to get a flag going themselves. 3 dead again for TSM. People with Taulek starting to overextend in the base.
Man, crispy.
Sprint strafe coming in from LastShot is good enough for him to win it. 4 dead again for TSM.
Beautifully done there once again from LastShot. You ever wonder how frosty it is? It's just so frosty right now. He's 20 and 12. The flag will fall here on the brick.
He's trying to overextend here. TSM have 2 alive on the car side. Druk jumps from base. We'll get the kill, but is he going to be able to get in a position to stop this flag? Frosty knows the pressure is coming. Does he have the timing?
Little bait.
To try and get this flag in?
He did.
Is he going to have the angle for the slide? He's going to get it. And that's 4.
He had so much time. I think he was so surprised on how much time he had.
Yeah, too much time.
Exactly. He's kind of setting up perfect drop size and waiting and baiting on the shroom stairs as well as the gen, and then he realized I could just walk this thing in. He does. It was 3 dead. Can TSM get something on the board here?
Taulek needs to pick up some kills here, as Frosty's already found 1 for Shopify Rebellion off of the respawn. Taulek will find the cleanup onto Frosty. You can just see the pressure that Taulek's under. You're so kind of guilty of over-peaking against these Shopify players. They make you pay. They will hit the 5 every time, but Taulek playing his life well enough to have those numbers on his side. Royal 2's going to take some damage, but Royal 2 wins the fight. Druk there for the trade, but this is an uncomfortable and scrappy-looking run here for TSM. Druk now last alive.
That's the type of things that Royal 2 could do. In that pretty much a 1v2 from bottom middle. He's going to fly out. He's going to get the kill. Beautifully done. Still 2 dead for TSM, and the flag will go back.
First opportunity really for a flag run, and it falls on its face for TSM. You find 2 kills though. LastShot's just trying to scupper away here. I'll make sure that he's not going to be the next. Joins Royal 2 on the car side to now double up on Druk. It's wonderful movement towards a teammate. From no shields to being involved in a fight to now being the furthest player up on the map to look to get a flag moving. It's just great stuff from LastShot.
Just absolutely flying through. Also keeping an eye on top mid the whole time, making sure Camo was not grabbed just yet, as you see. Finally, that flag will be pulled. We'll see what Manny can do, but it's going to be a difficult angle here.
Oh, it's going to be a difficult one. Doesn't get the triple here, Frosty, but certainly contributes heavily. As Royal 2 finds yet another camo here for Shopify Rebellion. Power-up control has been all for the side that's dressed in red for this game.
Complete game control. Royal 2 still, as you say, camouflaged, and he's 25 and 15, make it 26. As 3 were dead, staggered 4 dead here.
Druk is already up the P side. Royal 2 throwing that flag out. Those at the spawns are a little bit staggered for him to try and force this one. With LastShot picking up that kill, you would imagine Royal 2 is going to, even with his allergies to objective at time, look to move that flag. He's got camo though, to be fair. They're 4-0 up, he's got camo, there's a minute left. I understand what he's doing here.
No, this is, like we said, the extended camo lets you do this. And when you're at 4-0 and you just want to toss the, this is an absolute luxury. This is the way that you play this scenario to ensure that you just close it out strong.
28 and 15 in this game, Royal 2. 29 and 16 now. TSM trying to force a flag, but Frosty's going to cut it down. 3 dead for TSM once again. I mean, how many times have we said it? 3, 4 dead for TSM. You're not going to win many flag games if you're saying that a lot.
Frosty and Royal 2, by the way, at this stage of the game, almost identical numbers from them here. He'll continue that run bottom middle, but as you said, it's really just a 26-second victory lap here as flags will be exchanged.
2-2 as far as players on the map are concerned. SoulSnipe's trying to make sure they can secure that return. There's players overextending already from Shopify Rebellion. There's 2 of them in the fridge, and there's a player on the pink side who's flying through. That's going to be Frosty. With just a few seconds left here, Shopify want to keep the clean sheet. They do not want to concede this flag.
And that should be it here. Time going to tick down, and yes, indeed, what a game number 1 from Shopify Rebellion. They will take it very, very comfortably and in control with a score of 4-0. As you can tell by the intensity on these guys' faces, not just during game, but also after game as well. They came here with one job, and that game number 1, I think, is a good indication of where they are right now.
I think it's a great indication. I think you've just learned a lot about the motivation, the mentality of Shopify coming into this event. That's a game number 1 on the main stage in pool play. A lot of teams, regardless of seeds, maybe that's a little bit closer than it should have been. That was ruthless. Even in the final moments, every flag run was converted. In the final moments, there's a scrappy flag, and Shopify are like, nah, we're not going to let this one go. We're going to make sure that we end up with a 0 on our side of flags conceded. And 4-0 is about as good as you can get, really. And when you're looking at the stats, Frosty's dropping 30 and 17 in a game 1 on the main stage.
I mean, wonderful numbers there, 31 and 16 from World 2 as well. And I think the numbers and the actual POVs that we saw just spelled out such a clear story for Shopify Rebellion.
And look at Cykul's stats. He's +1, but he has 17 assists. 17. Most in the game by a long, long way. That's teamwork. That's everyone fulfilling the role that you want them to. And all the numbers being in the right places. You really just can't praise Shopify's game number 1 much more.
No,
it was almost perfect Halo.
And I think just to paint this picture for everyone watching, I think if you've been watching on LAN this year, certainly you expect this series to go one way, but let's not forget, in case you didn't catch it, just 1 week ago, TSM taking down both Optic and FaZe in the most recent Pro-Am. So this is not a team to be taken lightly. As we said in the past few events, you could say that. They're slowly kind of rebuilding their story. So Shopify has done so well to make sure they're coming into this series with the intensity, as you say, that you need. Because I've even been a part of rosters historically where we lost every game main stage, and then you have to kind of get your head back in it and fight from a disadvantage. And I think Shopify, as we said, is coming in quite polished and ready to face any opponent, TSM included.
So game number 2 is one to keep your eyes on, however, as we do move over from Objective to Slayer, of course, which is where we do see some of the teams who have struggled in that game number 1 maybe objectively have their opportunity to find a little bit of momentum in a series. But with Shopify's Slayer record, especially very recently in finals, it's tough to look past this as anything but a Shopify win.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just looking at kind of the stats that we saw earlier in terms of the way that Shopify plays Slayers, it's also a treat, man. You and I talked about it before the event in a little bit of our pre-event coverage, but I tell you what, when you watch Shopify Slayer gameplay, you can kind of pinpoint when they find, especially if you have comms, you can pinpoint the exact moment where they find a break point where they can just break a setup wide open, and they never look back. I would say Shopify is the hardest team to steal a lead back from in the league in Slayers right now. We saw them do it against Optic. If you watched it at the LVT LAN, just their ability to, at a tie game, get 3 dead followed by a 4 dead, and you are never getting that game back if Shopify's playing their game.
I think another thing that is very interesting point to talk about here as well is we always, when you talk about teams, you're always looking at the kills number, right? 2 of the teams, as we look at some of the Recharge Slayer stats between these 2 teams, and heavily in the favor of Shopify Rebellion, although a positive record for TSM, you don't talk about the hardest kills, least deaths. When you start to have that conversation and think about it in your head, Royal 2 always going to be one of the most difficult deaths. Cykul has made his name in recent events and over the last 12 months of Halo Infinite as being compared to Pistola in that difficult death kind of style that he is.
And then you just saw what Frosty
Are you going to outshoot LastShot a lot of the time? Probably not.
Yeah.
And then you've just seen what Frosty does, and that guy's got a lot of chips. So it's tough. It's tough. It's not just the kills, it's how difficult they are to take down as individuals.
Also the timing. You saw it in that capture the flag as well, but they are not afraid to slow the game down to a crawl for a split second, and they're not afraid to wait as long as they need to make sure that they're taking the exact kind of min-maxing a situation. They do it time and time again. It's been amazing to watch. As we said, the one thing to look out for here is TSM has historically looked good and most recently looked good on Recharge against Shopify specifically in their last 2 matchups. We'll have to see if they can bring some of that into this game, number 2.
One of the most fascinating stats from what we just saw there was the margin of win for Shopify. 5, which is pretty big, considering that Shopify are getting to finals. I've been in the finals of every event so far this year. So they've played, you know, Space Stations, Optics, Phases in those Slayer game types. And especially in finals as well, you're going to have multiple of them because we go to a best of 7. So that's a very, very telling stat about where some of their successes come.
Certainly. Anytime you see a margin like that in Slayer at this level, that is significant for anyone who hasn't watched a ton of top-level Halo. First of all, welcome. Glad to have you joining us here for the HCS Charlotte Major, the last major before the World Championship in just a few weeks. But anytime you see a team that's winning a game by over 50-45, it's just a very comfortable and controlled win for sure.
Yeah. For TSM, we've got to find something here. Like you mentioned, this maybe is the opportunity for them to do so with the record and how they've played very recently against Shopify on this particular map. But I think it's also important as well to just talk about this pool. You've got Complexity in this pool, who have put up some very, very notable performances in recent times. Very big series wins, very unpredictable series wins as well, and they're starting to find their form at this point. So for TSM, if they come off the end of this series with a little bit of a battering and don't show a little bit of life, going into a series against Complexity, who have shown that they've been growing and maturing a little bit as a team over the last couple of months, that's a scary looking series to try and get your head to right for.
It really is, and one thing I want to look at, you just saw him on the screen, it's Taulek, right? We didn't see the huge performance from him in game number 1 statistically, despite the fact that, as you saw, he was tied for #1 spot on the KD leaderboard in Salt Lake City. Incredible, first of all, to have 4 of the 5 top KD leaderboard players in this series alone, and you had also mentioned, also kind of nuts to have 3 of them on one team. However, Taulek showed up at that event. We have to see what he could do in game number 2, because as you just saw, we're going to need to see something huge from him to make sure this team is in fighting form.
Yeah, it's interesting that Taulek probably looking at this series, looking at the Slayer and going, don't worry, boys. 1.26 back at SLC. Don't worry about everyone else who's on this top 5 list. Don't worry about it. They're on the other team, but, you know, all good. Well, let's head into match number 2 then. Looks like we're ready to go here on the main stage. Shopify Rebellion 1 up after a 4-0 convincing win on Aquarius capture the flag. Let's see if they make it 2 or if TSM can tie up the series.
Take a look at this well. Hot streak here. 5-map win streak in Slayers. Winning by 9.6 average margin in those last 5.
Okay,
so
TSM.
We'll see what TSM might be able to do here. It's quite a statement. And as we said, this is a team of a lot of raw gun skill, right? And you can really bring that into the fray in Slayer. I'm not going to lie, we didn't see much from them in that capture the flag. We saw one pull that really didn't get much across the board. We'll have to see if they can show up in game number 2. We're underway. Shopify leading 1-0. TSM with a chance to tie up the series.
And of course, all eyes at the start of this game. Bottom middle for that camouflage is going to be popping up. Manny went for it initially. He went down as the camo is going to still be available for both these teams. Pretty good cover fire coming in, but 2 shields going to be broken by Taulek with this bandit rifle, but still pretty sure no one has been able to escape the clutches of each other to pick this camo up. LastShot wins his individual, and now on the back foot, Taulek will grab the camo, but will he be able to survive it?
Well, narrowly gets away. At first it looked like he didn't step far enough left and he had to go back into the gun battle, but somehow he does. So just like that, they now have a 5-3 lead and the camo. So the man on your screen, the man we were talking about, Taulek here, shotgun camo in his hand with a little bit of an early lead.
What have you got for us, Taulek? It's got to be headshots. It's got to be big damage. Well, the first one's going to be a whiff. Now his attention turns from killing to staying alive. Grabs the grapple. Teammate will collapse on a little bit of the damage. 2v2 on the map right now. 7-5, still the 2-kill advantage here for TSM. But like we mentioned, camo now. 45 seconds you get to play with this thing. And that is going to allow you just to back out of a few battles.
Oh, no.
But that's going to be one you look back on as TSM fall forward dead. And Shopify would take the lead by 1.
Just like that. And also, Frosty doesn't even care. He flies in. Gets a little bit of damage. We'll see if the team can close out. They will. 3 dead off of that aggressive damage. 4 dead again. That's what we're talking about. Frosty not afraid to be the first man in. He knew that that would be the first death conceded for his team. However, he knew the damage would be converted. And just like that, this is what I'm talking about. One opportunity, they will blow the game wide open. They were just trailing 7-5, and off of 2 exchanges, it's now 13-10. That's the layer of efficiency you are dealing with for Shopify Rebellion in Slayers.
That's devastating. Now with some damage being put down, Royal 2 is going to go in and trade, but the trade battle here actually being won by TSM. Now within 1, Cykul's trying to move in through the turbine to clean up the kill onto Manny, but Druk's going to keep his teammate alive. He's going to pick up that kill, and we have ourselves a tie game.
Back and forth here. Unbelievable. Tied at 15 now, and amazing to see it. Just Taulek with an opportunity there Camo and Shock, and they can't convert. Luckily, they've kept the game close, and they take the lead once again by 1.
So all reset on the map at the moment as the Camo comes up. Shroud screen will go down. Stick will get... Wow. Good connection onto LastShot, and Manny will escape with the Camo. So it's 2 in a row now for TSM. Can they make more of this one than they did the first?
Man, was that ever pretty. Beautifully done. Cool, calm, and collected from Manny, and he'll pick up some more kills as well. They're once again in the lead by 2.
Just starting to work a little bit better together here, TSM. The duo's linking up a little bit better. And now they're trying to trap Shopify, who are just trying to buy enough time to get 4 players back on the map. And he's going to be first in with this Camo, just giving so much information to his teammates.
Really nicely done. Good trigger discipline to get the first 2.
Nice comfortable double kill. Once again, just backs out the battle to stay alive with that Camo, recognizing that keeping this thing is so important. But LastShot out of nowhere, not only takes the Camo down, but turns it into 2.
Wow, just nukes the box at back blue and gets, as you say, not just the kill on Camo, but the second one as well, which is big, because that could have been quite a different swing here. The game is still within 2. And we talked about Taulek in the pregame. Only registers his first kill just now. 1 and 3 with 7 assists, so not awful numbers, but as we said, we're going to need to see something big if they want to close this out comfortably. 26-21 though, so what they're doing is working so far. We'll see what Manny could do with the Shock.
Well, he's going to get aggressive because they got the numbers. And now we're starting to see TSM hit a few shots as well. This is looking like momentum is just starting to swing the way of TSM as Manny hits another.
My goodness, nice little jump shot. By the way, you look at what the difference maker might be. Just take a quick peek at the top right of your screen as 3 fall. 15 and 6 from Manny in a game that they lead 32-23 now. The game has been blown wide open. Incredible resilience here from TSM to blow an early lead and get their heads right back in the game and now have a substantial lead themselves.
Kept it tight, then got that second Camo. From there, they have extended that lead, made the most of the impact that power-up can have, and when you combine it with some few good shots from Manny with this shock rifle, that's why the lead is getting where it is. Manny now finds another one on bottom elevator. He's going to jump back up here, reload as his teammates do more damage across the map. TSM now up by 10.
Yeah, really nicely done here. Still a little bit to go here on the home stretch. They have a lot of work to do to close this one out, but really impressed with the mid game here from TSM.
Couple of kills just going the way of Shopify here as the Camo comes up. And can they get their first one of the game?
Big Camo here.
Like you say, really big moment in this game. Manny can't connect with a shot. Only does he get taken down, lose the shock rifle, but it allows Cykul to move in and grab this Camo. It's a 2v2 on the map right now. This is the opportunity for Shopify to come back, though.
Importantly there, TSM, even though they forfeit that shock and Camo, they do get about 2 more kills. Otherwise, this game would be a lot closer. It's still within reason here, and Shopify could absolutely upset this party as they're only down by 6 now.
Important stick coming in from SoulSnipe in that situation.
Every trade from here on out feels very important.
You will take a trade. Cykul gets spotted out here by Taulek. Cykul's just going to back up here. And finds himself a kill. Taulek was on the hunt, but he became the prey as Manny finds himself victim of the double kill. Cykul making the difference here for Shopify.
Will they be the ultimate spoiler here? What was just a 10-kill lead has been reduced to 4. Make it 3, 38-35. Shopify looking for late game resilience themselves.
He took a really sneaky angle bottom mid there. Cykul had no idea where he was. Going to stop that little run. Druk gets an important kill onto Frosty as well. That was the shock rifle down. And TSM have stabilized here.
Yeah.
Still have the lead. It's a 5-kill advantage as we go into the end game here.
As you said, a very important kill. It feels like each of those trades that have been eked out have been so important and instrumental to keeping TSM's lead here. It's still comfortable at 41-36. A little less comfortable than it was a few moments ago, but still a lot of room to play with.
Bit of a teammate coming on to Druk there from Manny. He's going to come back to help his teammate out. Frosty gets taken down, and now the pace starts to pick up here. Cykul with a big kill to keep the game close. It's still a 6-kill advantage here for TSM. Trades are fine, but giving away kills like that allows space to be gathered here by Shopify Rebellion. They can start to get aggressive.
You get the feeling that both teams know that the series probably rides on this game. I think if Shopify win, TSM knows it'd be almost an impossible road back. Shopify similarly thinking if they take this, that could guarantee them the series. 5-kill game here.
Frosty finds one, LastShot finds one, 3 dead TSM. Danger starting to probably rear its head for TSM a little bit here as LastShot finds another. It's a 2-kill difference between the two teams, and TSM are struggling to find a footing here. Important kill from Manny, though, just to give him a little bit of space.
Watch the kill feed. Camo coming up right now. This Camo will almost certainly decide the game here.
Big damage taken by Cykul. Has to stay alive in this situation. LastShot takes some damage as well, so 2 Shopify players have their shields broken. As Druk gets that camo for TSM. 4 kills is all they need.
How does he play this? With a 2-kill lead, he can be patient here. They can wait for the opportunity to come to them, to get the pick, to get the damage. They don't have to force it. Let's see how he plays this.
Royal 2 always spots the camo out. Some of the best camo eyes you've ever seen. As Druk now starts to make his move. Game is on his shoulders here as Taulek finds the stick onto LastShot.
Oh.
There's the back smack here from Druk as well. It's going to be 2 kills going the way of TSM. And if they do that again without any kills going to Shopify, that will be game.
They should be able to pinch here on Frosty as well. This should be a freebie in the back. Somehow Frosty sneaks that one out. It's not over yet. 46-49.
46-49. 1 kill, all that is required for TSM. And Manny's going to find it. Manny finishes game 2 with 21 kills to his name. A monstrous performance from him. As TSM steal the Slayer. We are tied up 1-1 now on our main stage.
And what do we say? TSM on recharge against Shopify. There's something special there. And you kind of get the feeling in a final 50-46 score. You have to think when TSM saw that it was recharge, knowing the past few weeks of history between these two teams, once they saw that recharge game type, they must have thought this Slayer is going to be an even bigger opportunity than it normally is. We'll take a look at some of the stats here. As you said, it's Manny, 21-12 in a game that they win by 4, putting the team on his back.
Yeah, more than double positive. Even my maths will allow me to do that. Oh, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You went for
almost.
it.
It's
a high
early.
risk,
It's
a high risk.
high risk, low reward whenever I talk about maths. I meant almost double positive. Watch the VOD. That's exactly what I said. Shameful, isn't it?
I enjoyed
shameful.
it. I won't criticize. I'll just say that I enjoyed
I
it.
don't know why it's like the one thing that I just a waste of my time. and more importantly, everyone else.
You're good at so many other things. And
Yeah.
luckily, when the numbers are in front of us, we can just know what you're trying to say and what's actually going on. We'll let the numbers do the talking there. In the end, what a game number 2. I have to say, for TSM, the fact that they essentially let their lead get blown wide open and lost camo and shock multiple times, the fact that they were able to keep their mentals and get right back into the game and just run away with the lead. By the way, this was 34-24 at one point. They had that lead challenged yet again, and I'm just impressed with what I saw from TSM in game number 2.
First esports commentator in history to need a dedicated mathematician alongside him.
Just standing right here, yeah. He's
Just
going to nod.
no.
I love the idea that we have a statistician that just, as you start to analyze any numbers, they start to just shake their head. No.
He's just exhausted after the first event. He quits. Game number 3. Let's talk about this, though, because it's the first time we're going to see on our main stage at a HCS Major, the newest addition to our map pool. Vegan-friendly Lattice is going to be game number 3.
The greenest map yet to come into the Halo Championship Series. Also gluten-free, by the way. King of the Hill Lattice, as we said. Now, I want to focus on specifically not just the map opportunity here. I think there's 2 pieces. You and I, before the event, were talking about how Lattice is going to provide an opportunity in a series exactly like this, right? A lower... I know you're still laughing about the numbers. Lattice presents an opportunity for a team just like TSM against a team like Shopify. If they've put in the work, right, it will pay off.
You'll find it more funny than that. I'm devastated.
It will pay off without a doubt. But there's a second piece here. As I said, TSM has looked very strong in the past few weeks in King of the Hill and in Strongholds against Shopify. So they could steal this game number 3. They truly could. And if they had a 2-1 series lead, this series number 1 would just be completely turned on its head for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Whenever you throw a new map into the rotation, it's usually one game type, maybe a Slayer plus a objective, but the fact that we've got 3 game types on Lattice, it's a real test for players, especially this late into a season when you're starting to get comfortable with a map pool that is very deep, like Lot was saying on the desk. To have 3 thrown at you, and you're going to play 3 different ones throughout an event, even though they've had a lot of opportunity, like we're talking between events, to get some practice in, to find what that flow is going to be, everyone is going to be at different points in their development on where they are on not just the map, but on the specific game type as well. And I think it's really fascinating to throw it in at this time of the season because it is going to decide some of these big series. I think if TSM went into this series, saw a Slayer game 2, and saw Lattice as a game 3, they're like, hey, this is a couple of game types in a row which could just kind of make this a little bit interesting for us.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing we should also mention, too, is anyone who's been watching Shopify's POV, especially their comms on Lattice, it's not going to be easy, even though I think it's going to make this game interesting. If you've been watching, especially LastShot's POV on this game type, they have been steamrolling across every single game type on this new map, specifically because of the way that you can have your head on a swivel and you could just be sitting top mid, and the amount of damage that you can do across the map within a very short period of time. It's remarkable to watch. These guys have been clinical on Lattice, and it's not good, even though I think TSM has played well in terms of this type style of game type against Shopify. Lattice is going to be a tough game for them for sure.
Yeah, for sure. If this was an oddball, maybe I'd be looking at TSM and raising an eyebrow. I'd be like, hey, maybe you could get a little bit freaky on this one. Maybe you could steal this one away. But the fact that it's a control-based game type in King of the Hill, where you're going to have 4 of the best bandits looking at you, plus potentially a sniper rifle as well, which is such a difference maker on this map. That is a scary thing to go up against. And looking at King of the Hill stats, Cykul's holding up #1 for a reason. It's because those stats are pretty much as good as you can get.
Yeah, pretty wild. Every time we see a stat card from Cykul, it just feels like he's putting together numbers that are very rarely seen together. You might expect multiple players to be putting up these kind of numbers across the board in terms of leading in categories, but he seems to be doing it all.
I mean, I want almost double positive for the LVT finals at King of the Hill. That's absurd. Like, that is absurd. And like, usually when you're talking about a player having an incredible slaying performance in a series, in a game or a series, 1.4, 1.5, you're like, wow, almost double positive.
Yeah.
Which is the second time I've had to unfortunately say that. That one's correct though, because the stats were provided. It's
stats
insane.
were provided the first time.
Exactly, and they were. But for him to do that as a player as well, who I think has so many more strings to his bow than just the kills, it's just testament to what a talent he is.
Honestly, we've talked about it a lot, but especially what these 4 and specifically Cykul and LastShot have done, it feels like only 24 months ago they were the most talked about newest players on the scene. It's amazing how I think everyone has just, you've been forced to accept that these are 2 of the best players in the game, and you think of them differently because of how much they've accomplished in such a short period of time.
I think as well, you throw a championship on top of that. That's the
exactly.
big one,
Yeah.
right? That's now it's like these 2 are 2 of the best in the game. Yeah. And you can't argue with it because like, they've won a championship. Like, proven it.
Yep.
And I think you look back at, like, Legend had to go through that, Bound had to go through something similar last season as well. It's like, these 2 players are great. Are you winning championships? Now you're in that conversation. And I think now that they've got over that hump, so to speak, and got that first championship on board, this is a scary looking and different looking Shopify Rebellion.
Really isn't. It feels like they've unlocked. As the season has gone on, we already knew that they would be such a threat to the year, but as the season has gone on, they just seem more and more dialed, I think is the best way to put it. Other kind of teams, if you look at their last few weeks and months of play, there's just a little bit more volatility in their placings. It feels like instead Shopify has such a consistent base for what you can expect from this team in terms of communication, in terms of the numbers they put up, and really it's just stability in the performances, and they're bringing that so far into this tournament. But I gotta say, TSM, I don't think a lot of people had them taking that game #2 Slayer in this series when you look at the matchup, but they've done it, and we're now tied up here 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a lot of practice against each other in recent weeks, TSM and Shopify Rebellion. And it seems to have paid off. Game #1, heavily in the favor of Shopify, but camo control, so important for TSM in that second game. And that mid-game point after the second camo is where they got that lead established that was almost insurmountable, even though we saw Shopify make that comeback towards the end of the game. And we were talking about Taulek. Eyes were on Taulek at the start of this series. Well, it was Manny who stepped up for TSM in that game #2 and proved that this isn't just a team based around the performances of one player. It's a team who each of them, any of them, at any point can do what they need to do to take over one of these games. Well, this is going to be our game #3 here, King of the Hill Lattice. You're going to have that sniper rifle twirling beautifully on that snipe bridge, and that is such an impactful thing to get on this map.
Yeah, going to be the debut, as you said, of this game type here at an HCS major, and exciting to see it. We've seen it, of course, across the last few weeks of play at LVT as well as the TSM Pro-Ams, but now getting to see it on the main stage here will be the first true test of this game type between these 2 teams, and a lot riding on the line here for TSM. It feels like not just for this series, but their entire tournament trajectory. How do they start this event? Can they get another game on the board? Maybe even take a lead? We're underway, game #3.
Starting off the POV of LastShot, he's immediately firing in from cargo and winning his individual fights. Now he's just buying a little bit of time, jiggle peeking, waiting for teammates to clean up some of his damage. Still alive here, somehow or other, backing up because he knows the player's flying through ice as well towards where that first hill is going to be. 3 dead for TSM, but This man's survivability in those first 15 seconds, absolutely ridiculous.
Also, look at the heat map. As you said, he just stays on cargo and tarp the entire time and just beautifully waits and baits. His team comes in. They're able to close it out. That was the initial 3 dead, and they have points on the board. So that just shows you do not need to be flying, even though we're going to see LastShot do it in this game type for sure. You don't need to be flying on crazy angles across the map. Sometimes it's all about playing your 2 sight lines, staying alive as long as you can, and that is the difference maker. Look at the progress already on the board.
Yeah, really good early time on this ice hill. Something they do have to be wary of, though, is the man on your screen, which is going to be Druk. You did find that first sniper rifle, but attention is going to have to turn from him to either giving this hill up or rotating towards next. As Shopify will go absolutely perfect on that first hill. Now we move over to the red side of the map, and Druk's still with his snipe and really not being able to find any targets to fire on at this point. Finally hits a body shot onto Royal 2 here, but with 2 dead and only 2 bullets to play with, Druk not really been able to make the most of this.
As you said, trying to get an extra angle as well, and even that first hill going, luckily, hit the body. And how often do we see on Lattice, it feels like if you can fly around the map, pick your angles, and just consistently hit bodies, that is the difference maker that I think you were alluding to. Just the damage that can come out of this and the speed at which your team can collapse.
2 dead here for Shopify. TSM just trying to flip the spawns at the moment, trying to get in towards where that hill is going to be. Stick, though, frustratingly comes in, which is going to take him out of that situation. But TSM keeping this one scrappy. As the QT is going to be picked up here by Shopify. Cykul gets his shields back and follows Royal 2 into the battle, who, of course, will make sure that he gets his. It's a 2v2, though, and no one's been able to get any control at the moment. It's just a battle for spawns at the moment.
Yeah, it really is. Cykul with a nice placement there with the QT, and also just going to play this window as well. And before SoulSnipe can even take the pipes up, already taken down. Nice safety QT. I think everyone saw that coming in, but that's what a QT here will do. It will give you such an option to just reset each time.
Yeah, 3 dead momentarily for TSM, and Shopify now, if they can clear out Manny, should be thinking about stepping inside of that hill. And will be able to do so. The Q2 movement is fantastic. SoulSnipe is going to lose the fight as well because he knew pressure was coming from Frosty. As Cykul now moves up the map. We mentioned how he's had some of the most insane stats you could want on King of the Hill.
Oh,
this is why a killing spree off the Insta. He's pulling all the tricks out of the bag.
Man, you're right. You took the words out of my mouth. All the tricks indeed. And look at the progress that Shopify has on the second hill as well during all of that. Loved what we saw. That was a clinic from Cykul. Just the QT cutting down angles and being so efficient. And then, as you said, that is a setup, Nate, to have that insta-explode coming off a cargo, just waiting for it, knew exactly what was going to happen and makes it look easy.
Well, TSM did manage to break, so it's 2 dead for Shopify Rebellion. One of them is, the players, excuse me, is going to be alive is Cykul, who's playing towards that sniper rifle. Obviously, Shopify, you can hear and see what the plan is. Get that in our control and then play off the back of this damage to try and break. And TSM have done a good job of almost tying up this hill now. They're almost halfway on the progress. Shopify Rebellion about 2/3 of the way to capping this second hill, but with Cykul already inside a red hill with a snipe in his hands and hitting some bodies, TSM, scary moments for them.
Had to have been a teammate. I'm not sure how Cykul gets a bank shot kill on that one in the end, but in the end, they just keep him trapped in the back of the base. It's a terrible place to be if you're on the side of TSM. It will not be easy to get out of this.
Well, he's getting chased down. Manny will get the trade in this situation, but it's 3 dead on the side of TSM. SoulSnipe last alive, and he'll be taken down without trading, so full control of the map now is Shopify Rebellions, and LastShot's already pushing up to pressure these spawns.
Yeah, really nicely done. He's also going to get a QT as a reward for his efforts, and they will continue scoring, and they just kept them trapped in the back of the base. The TSM was never going to get a good angle out of that exchange, and this will be the second hill.
Should be another kill for LastShot as well. Gets the kill, QT's out. As the hill is moments away now from being converted. It does indeed do so. Conversion comes in at 2-0. The score now is Shopify Rebellion. We'll take those first 2 hills.
Just look how big the QT is in this game type. The fact, because it's such a scrappy, bottom middle-y kind of running routes type map, the QT just gives you so many options to reset, change your angle, fly out. When you're in trouble, just to be able to get a new angle and buy time for your team. It's really showed off. These back-to-back QTs from Shopify have been big difference makers.
And now that we move over to Bloom, you can see that LastShot sitting behind the frustratingly placed glass for a lot of these players who are trying to take this player down. This is a much more difficult one to break.
We've seen a lot of... Go ahead, sorry.
Taking this guy down is pretty annoying. Yeah. That's all I want to say.
I was going to say, we've seen a lot of things that look like a kind of a high school dance around the green pillar there at Glass, where it's a little bit awkward and you don't know where to go, and if you wait too long, you're probably going to be on the receiving end of multiple guns and a team shot coming in if you're not able to get those kills in green fast enough. 4 dead for TSM.
Royal 2 back behind Glass as well. Stepping inside of this hill, 2 minutes and 22 left on the game clock at the moment. Druk is going to be able to find a way through, but now you're going to see the prime example of what we're talking about. It's so frustrating sometimes to see that player and not be able to deal with him as quickly and efficiently as you would have wanted to. Shopify making a push now towards Cargo to try and force their way in towards this hill. 2 dead for TSM again, and with the pinch coming in from Cykul on the other side, who has been taken down, we now should have a straight 2v2 gunfight for hill control.
Oh, beautifully done. Look at this, just baiting and switching. LastShot should clean up this one. And as you said, equally annoying sometimes from both sides, but the hill will go. Beautifully done there from Frosty and LastShot. They pick up more kills as well. Look at that. Yet again, it might be 4 dead in just a second. But still, once again, right after scoring, it doesn't matter if it's CTF or King. Shopify is not only in control of the scoreboard, but they're still in control of the map. Feels like at every different time. 2 dead yet again.
Yeah, still in control of the QT as well. LastShot is having fun at the moment. He leaves one battle after completing it, moves somewhere else on the map to contribute to another. He is just flipping his position on a dime at the moment, using that QT to influence so many fights. And now they got the snipe as well. This is not looking good for TSM.
It just feels like they go superhero mode because they're already 3 dead, by the way, still for TSM. It just feels like they're already everywhere on the map, especially with snipe control. But when you add a QT into the mix, Royal 2 might do it. Here he does! And he gets the help to make sure he doesn't get taken down. But it just feels like they can go superhero mode because they're already so annoying from every angle on the map. In the end, that'll be traded out. 3 dead again for TSM. The slaying dominance just continues and feels like it's even getting worse.
Yeah, it feels like Shopify are making a little bit of a statement here. We are on the snipe side hill at the moment, which is one of the more exposed hills that we do have here on Lattice. And it looks like Shopify just want to pick up kills. They are pushing the spawns of TSM. They are not letting them anywhere. Even near the 50-yard line, it feels like at the moment. They almost push 75% of the way up on the map onto the spawns of TSM, and they're just getting absolutely suffocated.
Just a few ticks away, to be honest, 25% of the way from closing out this game. And once again, what a story from Shopify, the way they've been handling and playing this game type.
LastShot doesn't miss. Druk is going to be last alive. He is inside of that hill as well, so they're going to know his location. LastShot takes a different angle off the back of the damage. Doesn't even need to finish the kill because Frosty does the work. And it's getting desperate now for TSM. Really struggling to find any kind of footing.
2v2 on the map. Look at the numbers already. I mean, this tells a story. 20-7, 21-8 now for Cykul.
More than double positive.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Thank you.
The redemption arc.
I am on my redemption arc.
World 2 also 18-10 at this stage of the game. And now it just feels like, once again, another victory lap, as Shopify has done the work throughout this entire game with only 45 seconds left on the game clock to lead 3-0.
I think TSM probably recognized at this point that the game is done. 35 seconds left. Looking to maybe just make it a little bit more comfortable statistically for them in these final moments, because it has been complete and utter domination from Shopify Rebellion in this game number 3. And now that Shopify step back into that hill, excuse me, TSM step back into that hill, Shopify might be forced to try and break and make this a little bit cleaner on their side as well.
The break starting. They will get those first 2 picks, a momentary 3v2 on this push.
Just counting down the seconds at this point, TSM. And I think Shopify Rebellion doing the same.
Yep.
Another extra kill there for Royal 2 on the desperate Manny, trying to get somewhere near this hill to keep this game alive. Royal 2 is going to slide in on Taulek. He's going to win that one as well, and even though he's traded out, that'll mean 22 kills for Royal 2, 22 for Cykul, and a clean victory on Lattice King of the Hill for Shopify Rebellion. They take their lead back. They're up 2-1.
Once again, the second time we've seen an objective game type in this series, and the second time that we've seen Shopify nearly flawless in that game. Really reminiscent, actually, of that game number 1, just of the way it ended, right? Game number 1 ending 4-0, them essentially playing time and just dominating the entire game without hitting the score limit. It's the same story here in Lattice King of the Hill, and even though we were expecting to see TSM put up a fight in this style of game type, I think what really was the difference maker was the way that Shopify plays Lattice. And as I said, if you've been watching them play these past few weeks, I think they're the best Lattice team, and the speed at which they can play that game type. And then you add the QT, perfectly executed and grabbed each time into that, and they become an unbeatable team, in my opinion.
I think one thing that's really highlighted on Lattice, particularly with what we just saw as well, which is another great illustration of a point I'm about to make, is just how good the basics of Shopify Rebellion are. And I want to talk about their baiting and switching. You even go back to the first few moments of that game. LastShot outputting damage.
Yep.
And his teammates contributing to that damage turning into kills keeps him alive to then come back and help them when they get their shields chipped away. And we saw it so many times. How many times was a straight 1v1 taken in 2 equally shielded players in that game? It always felt like Shopify were in a position where if damage wasn't done, that they were putting that first damage down, then backing away for a teammate to finish. It's just great comms, great communication, great baiting and switching. And again, it's just the basics of Halo that are they're excelling at.
Exactly, and also it's also just the ability to it goes so much into route planning too, right? They're always taking routes where they will be able to disengage. How many times did we see Shopify get caught out, either around top mid or bottom mid in that game type, where, as you say, they get clean forward, or even they're a victim of a 1v2. It just doesn't happen. With the way that they're planning their routes, they can always disengage. It's always based on the comms that they're hearing. And in doing so, they can always take one extra shot, right? They're finding ways to min-max the damage, which paves the way for the team to have complete map control time and time again. And as you can see by the scoreboard, it has been objective domination from Shopify so far. They will look to do it yet again in game number 4 and close the series. It's going to be oddball live fire.
I mean, if the pattern continues here with what feels like the two teams being a little bit of a class apart when it comes to the objectives, you would expect this one to go the way of Shopify Rebellion, but I said that before game 2, and look what happened. So TSM got to shake off what just happened there on Lattice in the same way that they shook off what happened in game number 1 on Aquarius. And think about winning this one, and then it's a game 5 and it's Slayer, and anything can happen in a game 5 Slayer.
Without a doubt, especially when you talk about the talent on this team. And just for anyone who hasn't been watching all of Halo Infinite, you heard Snipedown talking about it, but the fact that these TSM boys have been playing together for a long time. We'll get back to that in just a second, though. First, we'll look at live fire oddball stats, and interesting losing record for both sides here.
Yeah, not the greatest of stats for Shopify Rebellion here. And I wonder if some of those...
Optic.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, some of those games may be played against the greatest live fire oddball team of all time, which is the current Optic roster. They simply do not lose that one, it feels like. But you're looking at the round margin, and it's not a lot. So they're not losing by much. That's one thing you can take away from that.
That is wild.
If you fold in those Optic
By the way, that's a crazy low margin, as you say, to have in a losing record. Really interesting. There's an asterisk on that stat line for sure, but we'll also take a look here at the main ball carriers. Some objective play from both of these players. They could do it all, but certainly objective as well.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? You look at Frosty, you usually don't put him in that category of player who's going to be grabbing that oddball, but I think you're just looking at Shopify Rebellion. You're looking at percentage of team time. It's just split across everyone at the moment. Maybe a little bit less for Royal 2. But,
exactly, but Frosty's happy to make up for that. He'll take the 32, right?
Exactly. He'll take those stats.
He'll take the 7% extra for him to make sure that Royal 2 can do 90% extra slaying on the map. I think that's a pretty good arbitrage between those two, which any player would take. Frosty and Manny on your screen, and Manny now needing to find a way to get his team back in the series.
Also, it's an interesting stat as well. I think it just shows how much Frosty trusts his teammates to get kills as well.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. He'll say, I'll grab the oddball because I know I've got LastShot Rule 2.
I was going to say, yeah.
Cykul, who aren't going to lose their individuals. I feel more comfortable doing what I have to do to win the game because I trust my teammates to do what I would do if I wasn't holding the oddball. So it's one of those stats that maybe there's a little bit more to it. Maybe I'm thinking too much about it. But as we head into game number 4 here, TSM have a chance here if they can steal this one away. And I think round 1's so important here for TSM to get off to a good start. If they can steal this, we have a game 5 on the horizon. But it's a big if, because both objective games so far have been heavily, heavily favored and won by Shopify Rebellion.
They certainly have, and Shopify will look to do that again in this series, of course. It's not just about winning this series, it's about the way that you win your pool play series. It's about the momentum you can bring into the rest of pools as well as into bracket play. And Shopify really wants to have no room for error, right? They want to show just complete composure in this series and bring that the length of the tournament. So even though they would have a Game 5 backup to be able to pull off the series, you know that they want to close it out here and now.
Yeah, especially if you lost the game too. You know, you do not want to be seeing Game 5 pop up. Well, it looks like the game is going to be underway here. Live fire oddball. It's going to be our map and mode combo. Frosty taken down almost immediately here. TSM find themselves 2 dead though, and SoulSnipe looking to even up those numbers, but can only get the trade.
Momentary 2v1. Taulek, last player alive, has to hold him off the ball and wait for some spawners. Very good awareness from him. Good damage. The last shot's just going to finish it with the snipe and also start to bring the ball back as well. And of course he hits the body there. Oh, another one! Unbelievable damage here coming out. Doesn't look like the kills will be cleaned up, but it doesn't matter because the ball has already been rotated.
That shot from LastShot bottom middle was like so dismissive. Oh, that one was even more so from Manny. That's a little lesson that TSM are here to play. They have the sniper still in their hands, 2 bullets to play with, and with 4 dead on the side of Shopify Rebellion. Life here for TSM.
Good damage from Manny. Needs to stay alive if he can, though. He's able to do so. They get the first pick as well, so they will continue scoring and they take the lead. Nicely done.
Good composure here from TSM. Knowing that even though a couple of game types might not have gone your way, the series is not done yet.
Ball should be rotated. It feels like a late rotate. We'll see if they can get it across. I don't think they're going to be able to. No, it feels like the ball maybe should. World 2 staying still for just an extra second. It's a momentary 2v1 on the map.
Yeah, I feel like Manny was like half a second from getting the timing and what he needed to get the info to tell his teammates where that push was coming in. Didn't see enough, quickly enough.
Yeah. It felt like there was a chance, though, right? If they were able to scoot that, I think they could have gone scoreboard to cuts pretty comfortably. The timing window was there, but unable to execute.
They managed to make sure that Shopify don't get comfortable, though, and have a couple of kills go back their way, and they've regathered the oddball in their hands as well. So even though it wasn't perfect, it's good enough to trade and make it scrappy in that situation. They come out the better of it with 33 points on the board. Now they start to rotate this ball towards green. Taulek, target-rich environment, as you like to say, and he's going to find at least one.
Very fitting of the location. He's sitting in jail, just pulls out the gap, pop, 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 pop. But absolutely gets taken down immediately upon engaging. However, the damage was good enough. It was 3 dead. It was a 2v1 for a moment, and it will be TSM continuing to score at that 37-16 mark.
TSM going to grab that ball off the spawn again. They're making Shopify work for this. They're not going to let them be stationary. Keep just getting a little touch on that oddball, running it away, making you think about where the rest of TSM are going to be. Cykul
just buys time.
He's going to just give him a loving push towards the scoreboard there, Druk, to make sure that he can get away with his life. But Druk's going to get the camo off the back of it, and TSM have shown that they can make the most of this power-up.
Yeah, nicely done. Druk also avoids the green gun for now. No, Frosty! Counters it, even though the green does not hit, counters it and shuts down the camo. That could be a pretty big turning point in the game, not going to lie. 2 dead for TSM and Shopify scoring.
Hurts even more.
Yeah.
From this event to the last, when you get not enough value out of the camo. Cykul still force pushing people around the map at the moment. Pop, 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 and everyone that moves into his reticle, but just can't get those kills. And the damage not quite being converted at the moment by Shopify. Maybe just getting a little bit lazy in the gameplay after what we saw in that previous game. Maybe thinking this series is done, and TSM are taking advantage of that.
Trying to make things happen there. Druk does not connect as consistently as he was prior. It was 3 dead. Got to mention Taulek here, 8-5. It's a huge opportunity for him. I think we still have yet to see the best version of him in this series. An opportunity if he pops off here, maybe sending them to a game number 5. They still lead by just a few.
Shopify, though, starting to just bring this one back a little bit, but it's been second by second. It hasn't been a convincing hold from them. Just been chipping away at things. Taulek. Ooh, that's a big kill to take down Frosty with that sniper rifle, because he's still got 3 bullets to work with here in the S7. This is a man we highlighted before the series. He's been quiet so far, but a Game 4 performance to talk about, and boy, will the headlines be written.
Certainly will. They do lose the lead momentarily as the ball does get rotated here back toward green, but it's 4 dead. The ninja coming in from Manny. Was it 1 or not? We'll let you decide. The feed's going to tell us it was.
It looked funny enough to count for me.
I think so. It looks like a big bonk on the head. And the score will likely change in just a second. Here comes the next Shopify push right away.
TSM take the lead here in round number 1. 2 dead, though, on the side of TSM. Big shots have to be hit here by Taulek. Misses the first one. Only 1 bullet to play with here. Breaks at least one of those shields, but the collapse now coming in. The nades will flush him out. And the oddball is in the hands of Shopify. Pretty much the closest we've seen them with a full setup that we've seen so far in this round.
Staggered 4 dead and a very good break, as you said. That'd be a fun game to play, by the way. Was it a ninja or not? That'd be a really good sequence. With some varied opinions across the board here. It will be a lead change yet again. Shopify leading 63-48. TSM needs to make sure that this push counts, but they find themselves 3 dead yet again at a pivotal point in the round.
Just starting to click a little bit here, Shopify. Damage being cleaned up. 1v1's not being taken. The teamwork is just starting to return to what we saw on Lattice a few moments ago. And with the camo going into Frosty's hands, now you're starting to get worried. 74 points are on the board already for Shopify. They continue this hold. As you hear the sounds of the carbine ripping across live fire, as SoulSnipe will be the victim.
Sounds even better in his hands somehow, certainly. As the shots just hit a little harder out of Frosty's POV, and still alive with the camo. We talked about how devastating this elongated camo will be and has been. He's going to drop for the team to keep scoring at the 80-point mark.
Just popping away. At targets at the moment. Druk's just trying to survive. Frosty now taking a new angle, as Shopify will keep that ball in their hands, and with 5 points required, this is the last push for TSM to try and stop things. One player will be taken down by LastShot. Cykul will be cleaned up here by Frosty as the round goes the way of Shopify Rebellion. A strong start for TSM in that round number one, but Shopify just managed to, I feel like, click and lock back in about halfway through.
Honestly, it really was as we jump in here into round number, and we get a nice BOV. Shout out to the team in the back for letting us see the Ninja one more time as we get into round number 2, but need to see more, I agree, from TSM. Let's not forget, they were leading at the 38-point mark, and it feels like all they had to do in that scenario was just go ahead and get themselves a little bit of a 3-dead, staggered into a 4-dead, and like we talked about in the Slayer, it just feels like time and time again, if you let Shopify get away with a 4-dead, it's such a high risk. Oh my!
A visceral sniper shot from SoulSnipe bottom middle.
Forget what I was even saying.
I feel like some bullets are made heavier than others.
That one was hefty. He had his name written on it, and it takes him down, without a doubt, at the key door. Let's see if Manny can pin up this one. Not always the easiest kill, Frosty bottom middle, but make sure to not get caught out. World 2 also taken down, 2 dead for Shopify Rebellion.
Good start again here for TSM though in round number 2. Very similar to what we saw in the previous round, where they got out to a good start, got some good points on the board. But then once TSM found themselves 3 or 4 dead for the first time, it felt like Shopify really did start to take control. LastShot narrowly missing that shot bottom middle, but with TSM 2 dead, nobody's going to be pushing quite as yet. And off the back of it, LastShot could set up on this tower, and he's going to be able to go to work here. How do you hit
That's
that?
what I'm talking about. This, if you've been watching LastShot stream, it feels like the body shots, they just, I was going to say don't miss, but that was probably a bad timing. Because in a rare event, he misses a body shot. Still gets the kill, don't worry.
Still alive, most importantly here, still outputting damage from the tower. And what has been, again, a great start for TSM in this round now has just been completely negated as we find ourselves with a tie game, 25-25 on the scoreboard as the ball is thrown off the back of the tower. It's played by Shopify Rebellion, and now they go hunting.
By the way, I just realized that's the first play ball of the game in round number 2. Pretty rare to not have seen one in that first round at all. 3 dead. Frosty, last player alive, and doing well to get enough damage. It's a staggered 4 dead, and maybe an opportunity for TSM to start to run away with this, and good initial damage as well. They get the first pick.
This is one of the rare opportunities that Shopify will find themselves 3 or 4 dead. You have to make the most of this, TSM. This is an opportunity that is rare, that is golden, and with an oddball in your hands and a full setup around the map as well.
Ooh.
You can't give away 3 deaths. They get the first kill, they're looking for the second, but Shopify are picking them off one by one here.
They really wanted that camo.
And even with the ball moved to green, the pressure is going to come on you, and imagine a play ball's happening pretty soon for TSM.
Should. Actually, they're going to try a rotate. Yes, they do. They get away with the rotate. And right now they hold for a second. Cykul wants to waste no time. Here he comes. Jeez, are you kidding me? That's the timing that I'm talking about with Shopify. Cykul knew what they were expecting. He knew the pre-nade was coming, and he knew he could fly underneath it and gets the double kill. Cycle's playing, if you're expecting Cykul to be flying at you at 100% speed, he's flying in at 115%, and he's beating you at the timing game and getting away with breaking the setup.
Think about where we first jumped on the POV of Cykul in this life, by the way. And think about where we are right now. He's gone all the way round the map on the hunt for anybody who dares to call themselves a TSM player at the moment. But regardless of what's happening for the POV of Cykul, it's 49 points on the board still for TSM here. It's a 10-point or so, 9-point lead. As Frosty starts to connect with a no-scope, and Druk has to be careful.
He was nervous.
And careful he is.
Nice job, though, to take down Cykul as well. Finally, Cykul will go down. He's 19 and 13 at this stage of the game, but isn't that just a perfect encapsulation of what we talked about with Cykul gameplay? It feels like a year or two ago we were talking about how he was unkillable on this map, and guess what? Fast forward to now, he's not only a champion, but still just as difficult to kill, if not even harder.
SoulSnipe finds one. That's going to be a 3v3 on the map right now. LastShot gets taken down as well. SoulSnipe starts to arrive a little bit. 16 and 16 in this game. Still a 9-point advantage here for TSM, as off the back of the kills, they get their hands on that oddball. Taulek's going to be able to bring this one back to tower. But a lot of TSM players kind of grouped up at the moment. They don't have a spread on the map to really escort him back with that oddball.
Nicely done there. Good teamwork around cuts as well as top middle, and good damage throughout this entire life from SoulSnipe. And they have put some more points on the board. I think they wanted a little bit of a stronger rotate, but they do lose their ball player. However, maintaining a good slaying number should lead to a little bit more time here.
Really important kill back tower there. Means that TSM can finally put their hands back onto that oddball, starts grabbing a little bit more time and make that lead a little bit more comfortable. Druk's going to be flown at by 2 players. Royal 2 going to be collecting the kill. Manny answers back immediately though. And the pace in this game is just starting to pick up a little bit here. The trades are starting to happen on both sides. The individuals are starting to be won by TSM as well, as 4 Shopify Rebellion players will fall here. And the oddball is back in their hands alongside the camo. This could be the chance that TSM have been waiting for.
Beautifully timed. One of the first time that we've seen that clear of a 4 dead and a power-up grab as well in this entire series. By the way, such an interesting stat line as SoulSnipe stays alive. Take a look. Barely positive for Manny, barely positive for Druk, and SoulSnipe also just narrowly off this last exchange, each player going positive. Moments ago, 3 of those players were negative. So really get a break point here, but they're still leading 80-40. 3 dead again.
3 dead again. Got to get that oddball in their hands, 80-40. Is the score, and if they do manage to do so here and they pick up another round of kills onto Shopify, we could be going to a round number 3 here. This is the chance that TSM need to take those. One thing to create it, it's another thing to grab it.
They've done so well to not have the slaying numbers. As we said, it's so narrow between the 2 teams, and instead they've been so objective efficient. 3 dead yet again here. 91 points on the board.
Gonna be able to grab this sniper rifle as well. This could be all of the difference in where this round goes. 97, 98, 99. TSM take round number 2, and we are going to a round 3 of oddball here.
Wow, what a different round. Completely a different story from what we saw in that round number 1. And TSM, it feels like they learned lessons from the first round. At the mid-game, leading again, and this time so objective efficient despite not having any sort of really slaying lead. As I said, moments before they took the lead, 3 of their players were negative in that round.
Kind of go back to the 4 dead. The first time they got Shopify 4 dead from there. Control, and they kept it. They weren't giving away silly deaths. They weren't allowing Shopify to take space on the map. And that's what you've got to do when these opportunities present themselves against a team that can call themselves the defending champions. TSM taking those advantages. And off the rip here, keeping it scrappy, keeping the numbers even.
And what a story this would be. If you caught only the first round, you might have been thinking, this series probably has only a little bit of time left, but instead, with that performance from TSM, they do find themselves 3 dead, so it will be Shopify time on the board. First team to score in this round. But not over yet. TSM wants to force a game number 5.
Ooh, big win from SoulSnipe. I'm telling you, SoulSnipe is starting to just heat up a little bit in this game. It was his run in the back of that previous round that got them that round win, but LastShot with the camo and sniper rifle is brute forcing Shopify back into this.
Man, has this been a demo of just how long the new camo is this entire series, or what? Finally, LastShot is visible again on the map, but not before Shopify puts the first 12 points on the board. Oh, the help is unbelievable.
Frustration from
That
Manny.
is the cinematic Hollywood moments in the 3rd act of a film when you think our hero is about to fall. Of course, a beautifully placed nade comes in from a teammate to keep him alive. Eventually he will fall, but once again, a little bit of extra time for Shopify on the board as well, but 3 dead here.
TSM immediately with the objective in their hands as well, something important to highlight. The kills are turning into points. Druk as well finds another kill. Even though LastShot will clean out the dummy side as TSM try to take some space. The ball time is still going to TSM. Only a couple of points. Essentially a tied game at this point.
Nice job for Manny as well. Good movement from him off that first exchange, but they will find themselves 3 dead yet again. It will be a lead change. Shopify now pulling away with a little bit over a 10-point lead. Here comes the push.
Going to be spawning away from the camo side of the map as well, and that's frustrating because that camo is coming up. So when they have to move across the map, just to influence not only the oddball time that's being picked up by Shopify, but to contest the camo, they're going to be falling into the reticles of Shopify Rebellion. This could be a big run for them. Camo is still up at the moment, and the ball time is heavily now in favor of Shopify, 41-16.
Should, on the scoreboard, should have been a camo burn at least with what we just saw. SoulSnipe's last player alive, still has Druk to help here as well, so they might have a little bit of extra time. I believe, based on the map composition, should have been a camo burn.
That was a momentary 4 dead. 2 players just respawned for Shopify Rebellion, so TSM starting to pick up their slaying game. Sniper rifle, pop in top middle. Royal 2 going to try and flank past it. And manages to find the kill onto Druk by doing so. SoulSnipe will find one though, and the Sniper rifle, I believe, is going to fall into the hands of TSM. I think it just went down top middle. And with Taulek finding himself a killing spree, SoulSnipe has the ball, and TSM are slowly but surely just chipping away at this lead of Shopify Rebellion.
Nicely done, because LastShot actually hits a perfect C platinate onto Bags, and they do get the first pick off of that. However, TSM manages to find a little bit of resistance, but off of that hold, they do get right back in the game. They're only down by here, only 9 points, but they are 2 dead.
Ball drop.
Big win coming in from Taulek. Unfortunately, can't get away with his life. And there is that sniper rifle. With pressure coming in, LastShot needs to hit some shots. There's one.
Ball dropped. Enemy has
Druk's going to peek. Frosty's going to be there to support his teammate. Opal's still in the hands of TSM, though, and we're about to have a tie game.
Really nicely done from TSM.
Great
Managing
nades
to
from TSM.
really good job. They find 2 dead here. Manny knows he needs to keep the pressure up and keeps them weak. Now Taulek comes to help as well.
Frosty finds one, though. But it's a 2v2 at the moment. Royal 2 is under pressure. Gets the kill. Puts the pressure onto Manny as well, which forces that oddball to be dropped. Look how frustrating he is being to be taken down. As Shopify try and flood off the back of that. Royal 2 staying alive long enough for Shopify to get up the map, and now they've got the ball in their hands.
It was a tie game. I think what we needed to see from TSM, there was a little bit more of a play ball out towards the camo. That ball sitting in house was pretty dangerous, and as you can see, it has already impacted them on the scoreboard as well.
Really important moments in this game. 2 dead for TSM. Oddball in the hands of Shopify. They start to score and start to pull away. LastShot, couple of shots, backs up, keeps his life. Tries to convert onto Manny and does so. Now turns his attention to the kill he started. As TSM will find themselves 2 dead again. Frosty still with his ball in his hands.
It's amazing. He's such a percentage player there. 66 to 41 in the game as Shopify starts to pull away even more. But it feels like every time you're on LastShot's POV, he's going to finish the 1v1 there, and he's going to get the extra trade as well. And consistently doing that in this game as well. Just 25 and 24 in the rounds overall so far. It's been Cykul as well as Royal 2 who have both hit the 30 kill mark.
Well, this stage of the game, Shopify have the luxury of having the lead, not being forced to move towards that oddball. They can defend it, they don't have to hold it, which means 4 guns up versus 4 pushing TSM players. And TSM managed to steal that ball away momentarily, but Shopify just grabbed it back as Royal 2 takes on Druk bottom middle. SoulSnipe comes in to make that an unfair fight, and Taulek will find another. It's 3 dead for Shopify. TSM with the ball in their hands. Frosty bottom middle, only player alive here for Shopify, might be able to get it out of SoulSnipe's hands, but SoulSnipe stays alive.
Big moment, and he gets the kill and doesn't take any damage in doing so. A huge play by Frosty as the game was only separated by 17.
Frosty finds a second. And most importantly now, the oddball is in the hands of Shopify, but Druk has a sniper rifle bottom middle, and TSM are starting to throw bodies towards this oddball, starting to win some fights, and Druk has a lot of responsibility now with this S7.
What a play there from Frosty with only 53 seconds left on the game clock. That might have just won them the game and the series.
Taulek finds one though. Pulse isn't good enough to send that nade back. Royal 2 flies bottom middle, SoulSnipe will find the kill. Oddball still in a neutral position.
2v2 on the map. Big 1v1 in the back of the base. Taulek knows how important it is. Cannot afford to get taken down, and he does. He falls to the 1v2 eventually, and Frosty goes huge yet again, picks up a 3rd. That might seal the deal.
70 points and rising, but most importantly, TSM with 2 in the death screen. The lead escalating towards a series win here for Shopify Rebellion. That's the last throw of the dice here for TSM. They have to win this next team fight.
2 still dead. Keep an eye on the kill feed. 89 points on the board, as you say. They need the picks, and they need to push now.
Cykul doesn't connect. TSM flooding. 2 players going to be killed by LastShot. He finds the double kill. Druk is last alive, and he's nowhere near this oddball. This will be it. TSM 4 dead. Shopify Rebellion with a round 3 win here on Lightfire oddball, which will turn into a 3-1 series win.
And it feels like that 3rd round really sums up our story of the series, doesn't it? It feels like even though we saw moments of greatness from TSM and a lot of back and forth throughout that entire series, when it came down to it, when Shopify was backs against the wall in an objective position, they found the way to keep composure and close out the game comfortably.
Yeah, very good series from Shopify Rebellion. TSM showed signs of life, but just slow to get going in the objectives. Took the Slayer, but that was pretty much the only positive note for them across that first series here in Pool A. So Shopify, when you're looking at the seeds, come through their toughest potential game in this pool and get that first win on the board, Andy.
Honestly, I think if you're a Shopify fan, you're very happy with what you just saw in that series, regardless of the fact that they might have dropped the Slayer and regardless of the fact that they dropped the round of ball. I think overall, if you're looking at Shopify and you're asking, is this team where they need to be this weekend? I think the answer is like a resounding yes.
Yeah, very, very impressive stuff. I mean, TSM, of course, now have to think about complexity and that big matchup that's going to be coming up in Pool A as well, because we mentioned actually look pretty darn good in some of those events that we've had between the last major and this one we find ourselves at. And Shopify probably feel a little bit more comfortable having got the work done against TSM in such fashion.
Certainly, yeah. I think TSM also needs to be proud of what they accomplished in this series. I think, likewise, if you're a TSM fan, I think there's a lot to be happy with that you saw in that series. Let's not forget they have, as we said, big results online against Optic and FaZe recently, and TSM has a long weekend ahead, and I think they should be proud of the moments they had there. A few things to work on, but certainly it could be a long road for them this weekend.
I think for the chasing pack as well, they're probably looking at that game. Probably would have been watching with like one eye on it if you're
For
like
sure.
Optic, FaZe, Space Station, Envy, and you're hoping that there's going to be a few things you take away from a series where you're like, oh, Shopify, a little bit weak there, but not really too much to talk about. You just probably focus on your own game there. That was great.
Yeah, I think the chasing pack in that scenario is actually looking at TSM and being like, oh, TSM actually looking like a bit of a bigger threat than usual, looking pretty strong. So I don't think they're going to be taken lightly in the bracket if you were kind of watching, as you said, with one eye open.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to follow that pool number A? Pool letter A? I'm obsessed with numbers today.
No numbers.
Obsessed with numbers and always incorrect about it. What other pools are you looking at? I'm really looking at Pool C. I think it's going to be a very interesting one as well. You got like some Luminon in there, you got FaZe in there. I think it's going to be. I'm really excited for that matchup. It's going to be a good one.
That's going to be a great one. Also, Pool D, let's not forget SSG versus Envy coming up. We've got Blaze on the main stage here, down there with Frosty. Go ahead, take it away, Blaze.